So let's come to the issue of the Ghanaian parliament situation. And I'm sure that you have heard the story that when an MP is on his way to parliament or he's back from parliament, he cannot be arrested. This morning, Mr. Speaker had occasion to speak about it in parliament, and Mr. Speaker himself was unhappy with some of the things that have been happening. Therefore, there's a debate going on right now among academics and scholars about this. We want to add our voice to that, but we associate ourselves with the document that has been put out by Sampson. Ladi will show it to you in a minute. So this is the point we want to make. So this is the British Parliament, isn't it? That's the British Parliament. And they've been sitting here for a very long time in the same place since what we call Magna Carta. Magna Carta occurred in the 13th century. Okay, another photograph of the British Parliament. So I believe this is the public gallery that sits on top of the Speaker. And that's the British Parliament. There's something unique about the British Parliament that I want to say. And it has a lot to do with the argument we're having right now. So in England, what they do is that they organize what they call, their democracies organized as a parliamentary supremacy. So the British people don't have a written constitution that you can find in a book like ours. Their laws, the laws that govern their country are all acts of parliament. Outside acts of parliament, the British political legal system has no way of churning out laws apart from the lower laws, the bylaws, the county laws, and all of that. There are no other laws in England that are higher than acts of parliament. In England, acts of parliament takes precedence over any other law that is made. That's how England is. So the political system in England is described as a parliamentary supremacy. So the supremacy of parliament. So parliament is supreme. Then there's an often quoted axiom that says that in England, the only thing parliament cannot do is to turn a man into a woman. I dare say that these days, the British parliament can do that. All they need to do is to pass a transgender act. They would have permitted a man to turn into a woman and a woman to turn into a man. But the often quoted axiom about the British political system is that in England, parliament can do anything except turn a man into a woman. Can the parliament in Ghana do anything? The answer is no. It's a very big no. Now, this common law culture, when I say common law, it just means something that happens in England within the context of the British jurisprudence. That's what we call common law. So this common law kind of philosophy where parliament is supreme, and therefore the members, the actors of parliament, assume some kind of supremacy, is the reason why they cannot be arrested by the police without the permission of the Speaker. That culture began in England sometime in the 13th century. Since Magna Carta, when the parliament sat, up until the time when the coup d'etat came from Christopher Columbus. What did I say? Did I say Christopher Columbus? He discovered America. Oliver Cromwell, where the coup d'etat of Oliver Cromwell occurred in England, and then the parliament was restored. All they did was that they shifted hands from the House of Lords to the House of Commons. The House of Commons are the lower house, all of them elected. The House of Lords, some elected, some appointed by Her Majesty the Queen. Okay, so this British Parliament is considered to be supreme. We got that this sort of how do I say it? A sort of a wall around members of Parliament that they cannot be prosecuted by the police or that they cannot be arrested by the police. We got that from Britain. But our situation is different. The Ghanaian Parliament cannot do anything at all. They can do things except those that violate the Constitution. They cannot do that. They cannot pass laws that violate the Constitution because the Constitution is a higher law. I'll show you an article in the Constitution that says that. They'll put it up in a minute. Can you put it up? They'll put it up in a minute and then you see it. So this is what I mean. This Article 1 of the Constitution, it begins as follows. The sovereignty of Ghana resides in the people of Ghana, in whose name and for whose welfare the powers of government are to be exercised in the manner and within the limits laid down in this Constitution. This Constitution shall be the supreme law of the land. This is very important. This is the distinction between the Ghanaian jurisprudence, or if you like, the Ghanaian constitutional arrangement and the British one. This is very important. Article 2 of the Constitution, the first article of the Constitution, addresses the sovereignty of the Ghanaian people, which is very paramount because the Constitution itself springs out of the will of the people of Ghana. So the first article, rightly so, addresses the sovereignty of the Ghanaian people. Article 2 is clear on that. It says, this Constitution shall be the supreme law of Ghana, and any other law found to be inconsistent with any provision of this Constitution shall, to the extent of the inconsistency, be null and void. So that the Ghanaian Parliament cannot do anything at all like the British Parliament can. The Ghanaian Parliament cannot pass a law that is found to be inconsistent with the Constitution because the Constitution is higher than the Parliament. That's a simple reason. And so when we say that a member of Parliament cannot be arrested without the permission of the Speaker, it's a borrowed concept from common law, that is not sustainable within the context of a constitutional democracy. Because within the context of a constitutional democracy, like the American democracy, the American Constitution is the fundamental law of the Federal Republic of the United States. The same with Nigeria. The Nigerian Constitution is the fundamental law of the Federal Republic. Same South Africa, or every constitutional arrangement. The British are unique in that regard, that they don't operate a constitution. They just operate the supremacy of Parliament. But here, this constitution shall be the fundamental law of Ghana. And therefore, the constitution is the highest law. So parliamentarians cannot say that I'm a member of Parliament, I have organized a demonstration. Now, so that comes back to the Constitution. So, and I'm talking about Francis, so the Honorable MP for Medina. I'll come in and we'll talk about that because I don't agree with his position, and I agree with Sampson on that one. Now, so the Constitution has laid down the rights of demonstrating. That law has now been expressed in several terms. And the processes that a would-be demonstrator goes through to get on the street to protest is laid down. So that's the law. It springs out of the constitutional right. So that's the law. Anybody, whoever you are, president of Ghana, if the president wants to organize a demonstration now, he would have to write to the police. Can you imagine that? But as a matter of fact, the vice president wants to organize a demonstration, he would have to write to the police. You have to write to the police and say that, my name is Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia. I'm the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. I have been upset about XYZ, I am leading a demonstration on the 9th of November to do We will be presenting a petition to the Speaker of Parliament, Kindly accept the highest, our highest regards. IGP will look at it and say, Vice President wants to organize a demonstration. What do? He will go to his Director of Operations. Chief, can we do a demonstration? Can we protect? Chief says, no. Christmas is coming. You can't do it. No. We have this COVID, all that. They'll write back to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and say that, dear Dr. Bawumia, we are in receipt of your letters and so we regret to inform you that you cannot do the demonstration, blah, 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 because of that. Can you reschedule and let us know the new date? That is constitutional supremacy. I'm talking about the Vice President of Ghana, or the President of Ghana, or the Chief Justice. That's how Ghana works. So I can't say I'm MP. My roads are bad. Let's go and do protest. Then we start running. Chobo, we are going. No. You can't do that. I'm MP. My roads are bad. I want to do a protest. You write. Police Divisional Commander Medina. We have observed that our roads are bad. I want to lead the youth into a demonstration to make our case. Demonstration is a right that flows out of the Constitution. Clear. So you cannot say that then I was demonstrating and the police came and said that. So the police identify an illegal demonstration. Hey, who organizes demonstration? Did they have permission? No, they don't. But why? What's happening? Who is that? So this guy. Hey, why did you organize demonstration? I'm an MP. Really? Why did you commit a crime? I'm an MP. You cannot arrest me. Go and tell the speaker. Mr. Speaker, please, you're a lawyer. We beg. This is constitutional arrangement. So let's go and see how Sampson put it. And then we can, he's a practitioner of the law. He gave a bit more detail. Okay, so this is what he said. An MP or any person, now he's quoting, an MP or any person the police will show courtesy to by invitation often turned into arrest. He's acknowledging that. When they could be arresting. I don't get it. Okay, inviting when they could be arresting. Ought to reciprocate the gesture. You could plead to either be allowed time to fetch your lawyer, which you are entitled to, by the way, very interesting, or ask for an adjournment if the invitation disrupts an important schedule. Okay, adjournment is big English. It asks for a postponement. I'm sure that's what we all understand. The police have often granted such requests, especially if the case or one's role is not that serious, critical, and not urgent. Let not any MP suggest ever again that police or the court cannot deal with the legislator unless and until the permission of the speaker has been procured in advance in writing. I like that. I agree with that. Not everyone has to agree with that, but he makes a point. So let not any MP suggest ever again that the police or the court cannot deal with the legislator unless and until the permission of the speaker has been procured in writing in advance. Okay. I'd like to open some phone lines on this one, shouldn't we? Let's see what people think about it, because it's a matter that we need to address. Do people want MPs to have the kind of immunity that we say that they cannot be arrested because they're on their way to parliament, blah, blah, blah? I think the answer is no. Nothing for an MP, nothing against an MP. I think that the answer is no, because we have a constitutional arrangement. Okay. The IGP ought not to be seen encouraging this unlawful and obscenely discriminating dictate. Why write to the Speaker, especially in a serious and urgent matter, only to give room for an MP criminal suspect to be alerted to either elect to sneak off or conceal evidence or crime? A reading of the 23rd edition of arguably the world's biggest reference for parliamentary history and practice, Erskine May Parliamentary Practice, will show that the privilege of freedom from arrest has long been refined to be consistent with the dictates of the rule of law. In fact, Article 117 and 118 of Ghana's constitution mimics such modern reform. I was excited, Sampson says, reading the plain, sensibly tolerable position in England. And even this position, as of 2004, had received recommendations for full change, including to restrict non-service of such process only to the precincts of Parliament. I share this portion. Was he quoting someone? Okay. In all cases in which members of either house are arrested on criminal charges, the house must be informed of the cause for which they are detained from their service in Parliament. It has been usual to communicate the cause of committal of a member after his arrest. Such communications are also made whenever members are in custody to be tried or have been committed to prison for any criminal offense by a court or a magistrate. I have spoken about how MPs violate the Constitution and their own standing orders with impunity, failing to write to the Speaker about their absence, and the Speaker failing to do his job of applying the law against these absentee MPs. Let the MPs and the leadership first comply with the law. Dear IGP, if you allow the shameless elevation of this unconstitutional, self-serving protocol into law to continue, it is only a matter of time and your officers will look on and feel powerless when an MP is committing murder in front of them. Guess what? Citizens won't. Okay, citizens will not look on, and there will be a brawl. That's what he's saying. Beautifully written. Thank you very much, Sampson. So we just wanted to add to this conversation, add to the debate about what's happening in our country.